Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, COVID clusters come to SU. How the university is responding to the spike in cases and just what is responsible.
Break-ins and burglaries around campus are on the rise. What campus police tells us they're doing to stop them.
And a GOP congressional candidate is under fire for clashing with a 17-year-old journalist. We have an exclusive interview with a student and a reaction from Congressman Anthony Brindisi.
All that plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill.
Good morning, everyone. I'm James Cargan, and thank you for joining us for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Maya Lockett. Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be talking about in our first half hour.
Our top story this hour, SU COVID-19 cases continue to rise, but there's another virus the university is looking out for.
Our reporter, Sarah Al-Shakai, joins us live to tell us what new steps SU is taking to keep campus healthy.
I just don't want to get sick, and if I get COVID, I don't want to get extra sick.
Fall is here, and along with the leaves falling and cooler temperatures comes flu season.
Last year I got the flu, and it's because I didn't have time to get the flu shot.
But starting this week, SU is bringing flu shots to students.
It's really convenient because I didn't want to go to like a CVS or a Walgreens where there are just some of them are dirty.
Now, at either the stadium or Sky Barn on South Campus, SU students can get flu shots fast, easy, and socially distanced.
It's super quick and simple, so I like that. Especially considering like how they want to get people in the least amount of traffic as possible.
Due to SU safety guidelines for this semester, more students will be having to do this, so they can keep coming back to campus.
As a part of the Syracuse University SAFE Plan and the Stay Safe Pledge, all students are required to get a flu vaccine. Anyone who doesn't will be referred to the Office of Student Rights and Responsibilities and may impact the student's access to campus.
So I think that we should all get them to help us prevent, if it's not COVID we're getting the flu. And when we get the flu, our symptoms weaken, our immune systems weaken, so maybe we could become more prone to then getting COVID afterward.
Students can schedule appointments on their patient portal. Appointments can be made for Monday through Friday between 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Now, the Dome is also the home to COVID-19 testing starting today. We'll have more on your COVID-19 situation later in our newscast. Reporting live, Sarah Al-Sheh for Mornings on the Hill. Back to you two.
Students are scared to walk home due to the recent robberies and burglaries that have occurred near campus. I talked to the Department of Public Safety and the Syracuse Police Department to figure out different ways for students to prevent themselves from being the next victim. We are midway into the semester, and Syracuse students have already experienced robberies and burglaries.
I don't only fear for my personal items, I also fear for my life as well.
It's usually like one or two robberies that occur in a calendar year, in an academic year.
So far, there has been 3 robberies and 7 burglaries this fall.
A lot of the times when burglaries do occur, they usually occur because a student left a window open or a door open in the back of their apartment. Burglaries are more rare on campus, and they occur more in a near off campus.
Locking your doors is one of the most important ways to protect yourself and your belongings.
Lock your doors and windows, lock your doors and windows, lock your doors and windows. I can't say it enough.
The Department of Public Safety and Syracuse Police Department have teamed up to help provide a safe environment on and off campus.
Given Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, we put out as many as 12 to 14 patrol cars in the neighborhoods.
So there's various overtime details that take place in addition to the regular patrol cars that work the area. They're usually double man units that go out and proactively police those university neighborhoods. A lot of quality of life issues, but there have been times whether we've had burglary details, anti-robbery details. So if we see a major increase, then we'll go ahead and deploy those extra details to try to combat the problem.
Here are some helpful tips on how to prevent yourself from being a victim of a crime. 1. Walk in large groups. 2. Lock your doors. 3. Lock your windows. 4. Keep valuables away from windows. And 5. Report any suspicious activity to DPS or the Syracuse Police Department.
Election Day is just 4 weeks away, and this year the youth vote may be more important than ever. Our own Josh Miller tells us the SU student perspective on the election.
With one of the biggest elections in U.S. history just over a month away, for many Gen Zers and college students, it'll be their first time voting. But will they vote?
I'm voting because I believe that as an American citizen, it's our responsibility.
I think it's important for college students in our generation to vote in this upcoming election, because when you don't vote, that means that you're complacent to all the issues that are going on in America and everything that those struggling in America are facing.
In 2016, millennials were the youngest generation that were voter eligible. Millennials were also the second largest generation that voted. Will this young generation surpass the millennials from 2016 and vote more?
Young people, college-age students are trying to juggle classes, maybe lack of work opportunity, and COVID. And I think it's, I think some of them will vote. I mean, it's not like none of them are going to vote, but I wouldn't expect record numbers of votes.
I do think that it depends on how motivated they are by Donald Trump being on the ballot. I think a debate like the other night, which was frankly by everyone's estimation a dumpster fire, did something like that motivate these young people to want to go out and vote.
On November 3rd, the United States will find out just how impactful the youth's vote was in this election. Josh Miller, NCC News.
We pivot back now to campus, where the university faces its biggest test yet in containing the coronavirus. Our Ford Hatchett has the details on what could be a make or break moment.
Precautions being put in place at Syracuse University after its latest and largest COVID-19 spike. The university saying an off-campus gathering last weekend could be responsible for as many as 45 new coronavirus cases. Bioengineering student Emily Fuchs says she's pleasantly surprised it's taken this long to see a large cluster.
I'm kind of disappointed that there's such a spike in cases right now, but I did expect it to happen even sooner.
But the university is acting quickly, hoping to avoid hitting 100 active cases, a grim milestone that would move classes online for at least 2 weeks. The school is asking fraternities and sororities to shut their doors to visitors and discouraging any gatherings of 5 or more people who don't live together, something Fuchs and her roommates will have no trouble adhering to.
We're all just going to be, I think, a little bit more careful with keeping our circles small of people who we kind of hang out with, especially with the new rule that it has to be less than 5 people, which totally makes sense.
And while classes and NCAA athletics remain unaffected for now, several areas of extracurricular life on campus are going on hold. Take a look here. Gyms across campus, as well as Kennedy Ice Pavilion, are closed indefinitely, and Remembrance Scholar and Greek activities are being halted, just like Orange After Dark and University Union events. Now here on a gloomy Wednesday morning in Syracuse, we're expecting some gloomy updates to the COVID-19 dashboard later this afternoon. University officials adamant that the next few days are crucial in the fight to maintain in-person learning and avoid joining a growing list of schools and universities across the country that have had to move entirely online. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Ford Hatchett.
Coming up here in Mornings on the Hill, Claudia Tenney and Anthony Brinzi fume over the treatment of a kid journalist. It's time now to check your weather for
Thanks, guys, and happy Wednesday. Today looks like your typical rainy autumn day. You'll want a jacket and, more importantly, an umbrella for your walk to class this morning, with temperatures in the high 50s and rain falling pretty hard now. Scattered thunderstorms are expected this afternoon, reaching a high. The story today, however, is the wind advisory issued for Syracuse. Gusts of up to 50 miles per hour are expected this afternoon, so make sure you wear your strongest hairspray. Here are your temperatures over the next 36 hours. It will warm up a bit tonight for your walk home from class as we reach the mid-60s. Now for a look at tomorrow's day planner. Expected to be similar to today with highs in the 60s and possible showers. Possible chance for some sunshine, but just to be safe, have your umbrella on hand for tomorrow. Overall, don't let the weather get you down this week. We're looking ahead to a beautiful weekend. I'll be back later in the show to tell you more about that. Back to you guys in the studio.
Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. Over in Utica, sparks fly between Claudia Tenney and Anthony Brinzi over a 17-year-old boy. Our own Ryan Clark tells us the reason why.
Journalism students all across the country, like the ones studying in the Newhouse School at Syracuse University behind me, are striving to become the future of media. However, just an hour down the road in Utica, some students are saying they feel censored instead. Luke Radell is the founder of Elected News, an independent news organization focused on asking the tough questions in politics.
Softball reporters get access to candidates. They ask softball questions, and the candidates give softball answers. And, they keep their access, the candidates don't get challenged, and no one learns anything.
Claudia Tenney, the GOP congressional nominee in New York 22, doesn't seem to be a fan. This past Sunday, Radell was removed by police by the nominee's request, while leaving other media untouched. They even became physically aggressive with him, violating social distancing procedures.
Stop touching me! You're touching me! Don't touch me! Look, do not touch me again. Look, get off the premises!
Radell claims it's because he called Tenney out on Twitter. Tenney reportedly posted this tweet on her official campaign page on Friday night. After an Elected News fact-checking report, the tweet was deleted. Radell says after the rally, internal campaign officials told him this.
Hey, if you want better access to Claudia, don't report the facts about her campaign, essentially.
Anthony Brindisi caught wind of the double standard. He issued this public statement in regard to Claudia Tenney's actions on Sunday. The Tenney campaign has refused to comment on this issue. Reporting from Syracuse, for NCC News, I'm Ryan Clark.
Tonight, the VP candidates clash in their first and only debate. Our own Matt Lajinsky joins us live to tell us what to expect.
Well, the
current Vice President Mike.
Current VP Mike Pence will go against Joe Biden's running mate, Kamala Harris. I spoke with Brendan Scanlon, a Syracuse University political science graduate, who previewed the importance of this debate.
The current Vice President Mike Pence and the Democratic candidate for Vice President Kamala Harris, I think they're both better debaters than both Biden or Trump. We as American people are going to get a lot more better ideas, better knowledge of what exact kind of policy they're going to be looking for in the next 4 years.
Scanlon also said to expect more of an actual debate and not the war of words traded between Trump and Biden.
I think they're going to be more respectful as far as letting one another speak and not interrupting. I think it's going to provide the American people with a lot more sort of a clear idea of what they hope to get done over the next 4 years.
Homelessness rates are on the rise in Syracuse, and homeless shelters are having to adapt while staying safe in the midst of a pandemic. Our Rob Flax explains how one homeless shelter is having an unexpected new challenge in response to COVID-19.
As homeless rates rise in Syracuse, shelters are adapting to increase services while also keeping themselves and the people they serve safe. Booth House works with the Salvation Army to serve homeless teens aged 12 to 17. Director Matilla Hassan says she's had to reduce staff while increasing activities for more kids.
We've had to adapt those services. It really brought out the best in everybody. It allowed staff to bond closer with the kids.
She says kids now have to stay full-time at the house due to new safety guidelines, and that's put a financial strain on Booth House, specifically because of
food. Food, because kids are out of school. They're also not able to come and go like they usually like to. So we have to feed them. We have to feed them all day long.
And a child who comes to Booth House will be given a bed like the ones you can see behind me. And while they might be empty now, case manager Debbie Hobbs says they hit an all-time peak this summer as a result of coronavirus.
A lot of the referrals that we're getting in are from school. Parents are frustrated, scrambling, to maintain their job and try to educate their kids. That's unheard of.
Case managers at Booth House usually work to secure permanent housing and mental health treatment for the children. Now they're finding themselves tasked with facilitating remote learning as well, buying new laptops, logging attendance, and helping them with their schoolwork. Despite these challenges, Hassan says she's determined to keep helping teens get back on their feet.
To treat them with dignity and make them feel, important. That's been kind of a little bit of a mission for me.
That's right, guys, and they told me that with flu season coming up, even more children are going to be using Booth House and their resources that will have to be split between COVID-19 safety and now also online learning. So really a war on three fronts over at Booth House. Rob Flax, Mornings on the Hill. Stay with us.
Hi, welcome to the show, What Channel Is It? And this is our first contestant, Catherine O'Dre. May I call you Kath? Okay, Kath, first question. On what channel can you find Bravo? Okay, Kath, on what channel on the SU cable system can you find The Bachelor? That would be ABC, channel number... Okay, what channel can you find OTN? Citrus? Z89?
Don't ask a dummy to watch TV. Go to the OTN website and under our shows, click on TV schedule and watch TV. As much TV as you'd like.
Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. I'm Sierra Ryder with your Orange Sports Update. We are going right over to Mornings on the Hill reporter Stephen Shoemaker joining us live. He had the chance to sit down with Syracuse women's basketball guard Tiana Mangaka. Stephen?
Thanks, Sierra. I was able to sit down and speak with Syracuse women's basketball star guard Tiana Mangaka this week over Zoom. Tiana recently found out that she is eligible to return this year after missing the entirety of last season when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Tiana has been on one incredible journey ever since being diagnosed with breast cancer in June of 2019. Undergoing a double mastectomy and countless hours of chemotherapy, Tiana never gave up on herself. She entered remission in early 2020 and was cleared to return to the court soon after. Having missed out on her entire senior season, the NCAA granted Tiana one more year of eligibility. Before her diagnosis, Tiana became the fastest player in program history to reach 1,000 points. Tiana looks forward to picking up right where she left off when she returns to the court.
I'm very excited. I'm nervous as well, but I'm super excited to just be on the court with the girls, and this is my last year playing college basketball, and so I just want to give it my all, and I just want to play the best I can. Mm-hmm. And obviously being out for a year makes me more motivated to want to be successful and want to win as a team. So I don't know, I'm just really excited. And
Well, Tiana has such an incredible story. Stephen, did anything really stand out to you when you were talking with her?
Yes, Sierra. What really stood out to me during my conversation with Tiana is not just how much she cares about the game of basketball, but how much she cares about the Syracuse community and how much she cares about others. Tiana told me that when her playing days at Syracuse come to an end, she doesn't just want to be remembered for how great of a basketball player she was, but she wants to be remembered for being the kind, sweet, and genuine person that she is. Tiana has been on such a long and inspirational journey. I know we are all excited to see her back out there on the floor when the season starts up. Reporting live from Mornings on the Hill, I'm Stephen Shoemaker.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, last night, Syracuse men's soccer faced a tough test in number 2 ranked Pittsburgh. Before the game, players took a knee against social injustice. And as for the action, the Orange lost in a heartbreaking fashion. Final score 3-2 in double overtime. The 2 goal scorers for Syracuse were sophomore Noah Singleman and junior Hilly Goldhar. Next up for the Orange, they'll face the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on Saturday. The game is set for 1 p.m. And number 5 ranked volleyball had a tough matchup last week against Pitt. Our Xavier Brown is live to break it all down. Xavier?
The Cuse women's volleyball team scored a big win this past week with their sweep over the Pittsburgh Panthers. The charge was led by Polina Semenova, and that
Syracuse University swept the Pitt Panthers for the first time since 2017. Led by Polina Semenova and her 15 kills, she is now only 25 kills away from that 1,000 milestone.
Obviously discussed the last 2 games with the coach, and yeah, it is right that my numbers can be better. It is always room for improvement, as we all know. Doesn't matter how good you play.
Semenova didn't know how close she was to that 1,000. It wouldn't have mattered, though, because she says it's not something that she thinks
I
about.
cannot be excited. It is exciting, but it's not like I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to score 25 balls this game, or I won't get 1,000. And it doesn't mean, obviously it does mean, but this is just your goal.
Coach Yellen then spoke about how the team's experience showed up. Players rallied around teammates, and it didn't seem to matter who was on the floor. The team knows who the leaders are.
To have 1 year, as you said, that's a huge experience. Huge experience. It's more important for players to accept who is leader, who is not, you know what I mean? I mean, for real accept it, you know what I mean?
The women's volleyball team takes on another ranked opponent in Louisville this Friday, October 9th and 10th, down in Kentucky. Xavier Brown with Mornings on the Hill.
Moving on, SU is back in the Dome for football action after their bye week where they will take on Duke. The Blue Devils are coming in at 0-4 after a 38-31 loss to Virginia Tech. Meanwhile, the Orange are riding high after their first win of the season against Georgia Tech. On some injury news, All-American safety Andre Cisco is still questionable to play after a lower body injury in pre-game performance last week. Head coach Dino Babers did not go into much detail when asked about Cisco's status for this weekend. However, Babers says Cisco has been energetic and all smiles at practice. And that's going to do it for sports. I'm Sierra Ryder. Back to you.
Coming up, one last look at your weather with Julia. Stay with us.
Welcome back. One last look at weather with Julia.
Thanks, Maya. Let's take a look at the fantastic weekend coming up. Friday and Saturday, it'll be mostly sunny. Sunday, there is a possibility for rain, but overall, a beautiful weekend up ahead.
Thanks, Julia. What weekend activities would you recommend for students this weekend?
Well, Saturday is your prime day for apple and pumpkin picking. Sunday, with the rain in the afternoon, that's the perfect weather to use the apple and pumpkins you picked the day before to whip up some delicious fall recipes. That'll do us for weather this morning. Back to you guys in the studio.
And finally this morning, let's talk streaming. We said goodbye to some streaming favorites last week, but that just leaves more room for some of our favorites, such as the brand new season of Schitt's Creek. The final season of the Emmy Award-winning Schitt's Creek hit the platform early on October 1st. Plus, if you love romantic comedies, Emily in Paris is the show for you. The show follows a young professional who has the opportunity to live in Paris and work at a marketing firm. In the show, Emily explores beautiful Paris, eats great food, and of course has many Parisian romances. Despite the uplifting plot, the show has been getting some negative reviews as it is a painful reminder that we can't travel to Paris on a whim right now. You're telling me. And finally out today is Adam Sandler's mildly anticipated Halloween comedy, Hubie Halloween. Certainly plenty of scares expected in that one, and for one way or another. But there's so much more coming to your devices this month, so we'll all be entertained. You ready to see Hubie Halloween, Maya?
I sure am, but I would love to go back to the Emily in Paris movie show. I actually watched it myself and was one of those people who were sad because I did have a trip planned to Paris in March, but with COVID, I don't know if I'm still gonna be able to take it. And for Halloween, Halloween's one of my favorite holidays. What about you, James?
Well, we'll all be dressed up in one way or another. We all love wearing masks in general, but This year it might be easier than ever. We might as well just paint our masks as a skeleton.
Do you know what you're going to be for Halloween?
I certainly don't, but whatever it is, it'll be scary enough just with me.
I'm planning to take it back to Texas, and I think I want to be Meg the Stallion. I have the height for it and all.
Oh boy, I wouldn't be surprised by that. And that'll do it for us this Wednesday here on Mornings on the Hill. I'm James Cargan.
And I'm Maya Lockett. Thanks for watching Orange Nation. We'll see you next Wednesday live 10 a.m. right here on OTN.